in my heart.
You may be seated. That train reminds me of the thunder this morning. I'd never heard thunder growling on the horizon, but it woke me up with that like a lion's roar. It was really quite spectacular. And here we are in May, and we appreciate the rain. This is our time. This is actually our last Sunday focusing on the wisdom of Emmet Fox, his golden key. And the last aspect of that is God is with me. And that is so true. We know it to be. And as we know that this is the month of our power, that purple power, that where we have dominion, where we can know what we know and then stand in conviction with that power. And if we know that God is with me, we are right where we need to be. Now, I wanted to bring in the wisdom from Scripture. This is Romans 12:2, and it is very clear in alignment with this concept. As I read, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds, so that you may discern what is the will of God and what is good and acceptable and perfect. That couldn't be more clear, that it's ours to be of this world, not to be attached to it. For it's a temporary journey walking in the human container. Living the life that we live is so valuable because it's our way to sense the world. It's our way to connect with the items and the aspects of contrast and depth and harmony and balance. All of these are part of what the universe is. And as we renew ourselves into the knowing that we're one with God, and we step into, just like that song says, here I am, Lord, right now, present, available and willing. And sometimes life challenges us. It certainly challenges me. I go into fear of lack or doubt, and I get caught up in the worldly concerns, which are very real. When was the last time you were angry? When was the last time you were afraid? Or life just wasn't going the way you felt it should be going? That's life. But as long as we're living that life, we're also living a spiritual life, intricately connected with the divine, so that we can discern that which is the world and temporary and that which is eternal. Or, what this says, what is good and acceptable and perfect. I'm not perfect, but God is perfect. That eternal presence of love, of beauty, of joy is perfect. And God is with me. So that perfection lies within me as the divine essence that I am. We live in two worlds. Now, I often turn to the wisdom of Martha Smock, who was a wise woman. She was the head of the Daily Word for many, many years. Here she says, with God, there is always a way that is prepared now, a way that is at hand now, a way of life, a way of supply, a way of peace, a way of happiness, a way of freedom, a way of light. Since God is eternal and God's presence is everywhere, we have within us all that God can provide. So if I'm in a place of, how am I going to pay my taxes this year? Tomorrow's tax day. How am I going to do that? And if I'm living in fear because I don't have enough, living in the fear doesn't create any solution. When I remember that there's a way, then it is amazing how life shows up with the answer. How to pay the bill. How to open my heart to acceptance. How to accept that there's always a way if we just heed it. This is turning our will to the will of God. It's not a magic trick. It's just, there's always a way. And as the master teacher Jesus had said, my way is easy and my burden is light. So if that's true, and I've come to know that it is true, light doesn't weigh very much. I'm fine carrying around a ton of light because there's no burden. And yet, God's light is ever pervasive in the universe. God is with me is our affirmation to know this truth, no matter what. I turn to Emmet Fox, who's been the inspiration for the past 5 Sundays, and the golden key simply stated, these are his words. All you have to do is this. Stop thinking about the difficulty, whatever it is, and think about God instead. This is the complete rule. Is it really that simple? I can tell you that when I wake up in the morning and I begin my prayer and meditation practice, this is my way of turning to God. And our tool in unity is affirmative prayer. It's affirming the highest truth. And when we do that, we are thinking about God. We're thinking about the highest truth, not a lesser truth. And we're not basing our faith in our fear. We're basing our faith in God. Now, sometimes when we're quaking, when the difficulty seems like, I don't know what to do with this situation. It's intense. Life can be intense. It can be challenges. Sometimes the people we love are hurt. Sometimes we don't know what's going to happen when our loved ones are hurt. That can create a little bit of fear. Can you relate to that? And some of those someones are our pets. And when they're hurt, they're hurting. And we're hurting. And the only solution is to turn our focus away from the difficulty. It doesn't change the fact that there's challenge. It changes how we're relating to it. it might be we're open to maybe having the possibility of giving it to God and allowing God to provide the healing, the balance, the supply, the wisdom. This is more eloquently spoken by Reverend James Dillett Freeman, our poet laureate, the writer of The Prayer for Protection and many other poems. He actually was the head of the Unity Institute, our school at that time, and he had a very practical wisdom about him that I think came through his poems, but also in what he said. He says, "We cannot fight our way to God. Weeping and pleading are futile. We must let go and let God." Many of us have been exposed to the 12-step programs, either personally or friends and loved ones. And in those 12 steps, the first one is to come to a place where you say, okay, I am powerless over this, which means I've tried over and over again to cry and scheme and whine. Ever been there? And it doesn't help. Sure, it can get off some of the steam, but all I experience by whining is it creates more whining over and over and over again. But when we let go, finally let go, raise the flag, surrender to God, we can begin to take steps. And we don't do those 12 steps overnight. We don't practice our unity principles in, oh, ain't I a holy person now? No. We still get to do left foot, right foot, in the ditch, out of the ditch, breathe, relax, let go, let God, awaken. I learned a long time ago that I don't get to choose God is with me once and it's done. Because my mind is focused on way too many other ideas. And many of them are not God is with me. So I need to choose it again. And for me, I need to start every day where I take a moment and sit down and let go of the phone, the to-do list, all the needs and wants, and just be. This is why our fourth unity principle says we need to pray and meditate daily. It's an opportunity to wake up to there's more to our existence than just me, myself, and I. And we're never alone because God is with me. Say that. God is with me. God is with me. And we must have a moment of letting go to allow the space for God to be present within us. Because we can get really stuffed with all of our shoulds and have-tos and gottes. Co-founder Charles Fillmore, this will bring this conversation to a close, says it with this great wisdom. God is our Father, Mother, the one inspiration of all that we do. of all that we are. When we can own that our major presence, that all of our inspiration is God. That God is the ideating presence that fills us, that lives us, that affords us opportunities beyond our wildest dreams. You could be someone that lives in Maui and goes to the beach every day, minding their own business, feeling like everything's doing pretty good, and then God can say, become an ordained Unity minister. And when you say yes to God, it becomes a wild journey that is nothing like you've ever experienced before. And even to this day, I need to start my day saying, okay, God, yes, whatever. Your way, not mine. I let go of my needs and wants. What's your will for today? And I bring forth an affirmation of truth and live that principle as if it's the most important thing in my life. Because God is with me through whatever. And that's a blessing. Let's take this idea into meditation as the Unity Singers help us frame ourselves into quietness in song.
Go within, go within, go within, go within, go within, to the one inside, go within. Let it be your guide. Go within. Touch the truth. Go within. Know it's you. Oh. Go within, go within, go within, go within, go within, go within, go within.
Here we are, blessed by this moment as we go within, breathing easily, relaxing, and becoming fully present to this now moment. And as we center in our safe center. We allow ourselves a little more space for God. You may bring to mind something that's just not quite working right. Something you'd love God to infuse healing, balance, creativity, abundance with. And as we use this wisdom from Emmet Fox, Golden Key, for any situation that we want to release to God, we say these 5 affirmations. There is no power but God. There is no power but God. There is no power but God. I am the child of God, filled and surrounded by the perfect peace of God. I am the child of God, filled and surrounded by the perfect peace of God. I am the child of God, filled and surrounded by the perfect peace of God. God is love. God is love. God is love. God is guiding me now. God is guiding me now. God is guiding me now. God is with me. God is with me. God is with me. As we relax and turn within, we allow these affirmations to allow us to turn, to let go and let God as we enter the silence. We are eternally grateful for our ever-increasing awareness of our oneness with God. And from this cradle from this safe place, we bring our attention back to wherever we are by wiggling our fingers, by wiggling our toes, by rolling our head. And when we're ready, we open our eyes and allow ourselves to awaken again to the affirmation that goes with today's talk. Together, God is with me now. God is with me now. God is with me now. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen.
Your faith. Step out on the water. Release your faith. Every step is stronger. Step out on the water.